Hey guys, if you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts. You probably like music too, I would imagine. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free. You don't even need a premium account. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. The good thing is, is on Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcast so you never miss an episode. You can download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, so you don't have to worry about it cutting in and out like I have to when I'm at work. And you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with social platforms like Instagram. Just search for the Really Rich Podcast on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me so you never miss an episode of the Really Rich Podcast. Last but not least, though, Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service. I don't know if you guys knew that. I did not, but it is. And now it can be your go-to for podcasts as well. Hello, what's going on, everyone? It's Adam Rich from the Really Rich Podcast. Do you feel like you don't get enough support from your friends, family, coworkers, loved ones, whoever? Do you feel like, you know, you're trying to get something accomplished, you're going all in, you give it your best effort, but like nobody believes in you, nobody tells you that you're doing great, nobody helps, nobody, and I don't mean like support financially or anything like that. I don't mean physically giving you the help. I just mean, do you feel like nobody verbally or emotionally, has your back? Because I want to remind everyone that if you focus on doing something, if you're trying to accomplish something, if you have your passion and you're inspired to do something, it should never require anybody else's support. Because I'm gonna give you a little secret. Nobody fucking cares. There's a good chance nobody ever supports you. There's a good chance that nobody cares what you're doing. Nobody's trying to help you. In fact, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's a lot of people that you may call good friends of yours who secretly want to see you fail. So the last thing they're going to do is support you. They may support you to your face. They may tell you, man, that's awesome that you're doing this. That's great. I'm so happy for you. I can't believe all these wonderful things are happening. That's good job. And then as soon as you walk away, and their thought process is, man, that motherfucker's never going to accomplish shit. They're never going to do anything. They think they are. They think they're big shit. They think they're accomplishing stuff. They think that they're doing big things, but they're not. And they're never going to. And that's the reality, man. That's how a lot of people feel about your success, about your drive, your whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to start a new business, if you're trying to take up a new hobby, you're trying to get good at it, if you're trying to sell stuff to people, if you got a new job, or if you think like, hey, I just got this new job, this is going to change everything. Or maybe you're buying a new house. Maybe you you're looking at buying a new car. These things that you feel good about, just keep in mind, you're the only one that feels good about those things. And it's a good thing. I don't want you to look at that as a bad thing, like there's something wrong with you or that you're into some weird shit. I mean, maybe you are, but that's not the point. The point is, if you like it, regardless how weird it may seem to anybody else, if you like something, go out and chase it down. Go out and do it. If you're the biggest Dungeons and Dragons fan ever, and nobody in today's world wants to play Dungeons and Dragons, there's somebody out there that does. There's probably a huge following of people. They just don't say it out loud. There's things in life, I've noticed this as I've grown up, that throughout history, there are always trends. There's always fads. There's always things that people will jump on board with. And then there's other people that are totally against it. And then somewhere in the middle, there's people out there that are a huge fan, but they don't want to tell you because they feel like it's nerdy. When I was growing up, Dungeons and Dragons was a big one. Cartoons, if you were past the age of 13 and you watched cartoons, that was like weird that was weird. But now, some of those things are cool. Like, I remember I used to be big into golf. My dad always made me golf all the time when I was younger. I liked it. I started getting really good at it around 12, 13 years old. Not like good, like Tiger Woods good, but good for a fucking 12 or 13-year-old. Especially with no schooling and only being able to play in the summers because I lived in Michigan. And we didn't have a shitload of money, so it wasn't like I was, going to all these fancy schools and getting the best equipment and the fanciest shit. I just liked playing, and I got really good by the time I was 12 or 13, right? And then all of a sudden I noticed all my guy friends were were really dating girls, and they were getting big into the dating, and so was I. And I just noticed nobody back then when I was 13. Now, mind you, this is right when Tiger Woods was just starting in the pros. So I'm 13. Nobody likes golf. I remember my dad asked, because I was going into high school, and my dad asked me, he's like, "Are you going to join the golf team?" And I was like, "Nope." And I loved golf at the time. I just didn't want to join the golf team purely because I thought it would, in those days, people would say you're gay. It didn't mean that I was actually a homosexual or that I liked men. It just meant, in those days, it was totally common to call somebody gay if you thought they were either dumb or nerdy or just weird or just basically different. It's kind of the same meaning as queer. Queer actually means different or weird. Unique, different than they say queer is a $3 bill. It's rare, it's weird, it's not common, right? And that's kind of where the term even came from. But that's not what we're talking about. I'm not trying to get myself banned from from the internet here. I'm just saying that's the term that I was always called when I was trying to golf, and I liked it. My friends would say that about me, and I didn't like being called that. So I was like, well, I'm definitely not doing that. I want to get girls. How am I going to get girls if all my guy friends are calling me gay? How am I going to date a girl when all my guy friends are calling me gay? It was the point. And so I just basically kind of gave up golf because I tried to get into dating girls, and I was like, well, they're going to think I'm a nerd, or they're not going to like me. They're going to think I'm weird or something if I'm on the golf team. None of the guys on the golf team get laid. And I remember having that thought at 13, I'm never gonna date a girl as long as that she knows that I'm into golf. And it was surprising that half of my guy friends even liked me. And then something fucking weird happened. Right after I basically kind of gave up golf, Tiger Woods started to become big. Tiger Woods was just coming on the scene. He was starting to win. Over the next 3, 4, 5 years, he became a big fucking deal. Well, by this time, I wasn't playing golf anymore. So then after I graduate, now mind you, I hadn't played golf pretty much ever during this whole span of high school. You lose so much, especially when you're young and you're going into this growing period, because now your body's growing and changing and you're not adapting with your golf swing and all this stuff. And this happens with anything. It's not just golf, obviously. If you took 4 or 5 years off of basketball or tennis or arts and crafts, you're going to be rusty. You're going to be very rusty. As a matter of fact, I straight up sucked after that. So at the point in time when I was now granted, I could hit the ball farther because I was bigger and stronger, but I definitely couldn't hit it straight. My chipping game was off. My putting sucked. And I lost it. I lost a ton of ground. All the ground that I had made, I lost most of it. And it at the time, it didn't really bother me as much. It kind of sucked because I had, done it for so long, and I was so much better when I was younger. And then it sucked to lose most of that, But what's interesting is Tiger Woods became a huge deal. And all of a sudden, golf became cool. People that never liked golf started loving golf. People that thought it was fucking nerdy and dorky and all that, they started appreciating it. And Tiger Woods became known as an athlete. No golfer was ever really considered. No, granted, they are athletes. They're playing a sport. They're doing, it's physically demanding in some level. As a matter of fact, you play 4 days straight in a row, 18-hole golf, and you have to walk the whole time and carry your bag. That shit is physically demanding. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, it became cool as fuck, and I missed it. Purely because I was so worried about what other people thought. When I was 13 years old, I valued the opinions of others, and it was a huge fucking mistake. I gave up on golf because of it. I thought it was nerdy. So there's 2 major lessons in this story. A, Don't worry about what the fuck people say is nerdy or dorky or whatever term of the day is. Don't let anybody else shit on what you like doing. Or don't listen to it, I mean. They can shit on it all they want. It doesn't matter. Not everybody. I don't like the ballet. I don't like the opera. But there's millions of people that do. I'm not shitting on the opera or ballet. I personally don't like it. I don't get into it. I don't get into sewing or art, like arts and crafts and stuff. I think it's kind of cool, and I think people are extremely talented when they do it. It's just not for me. But that doesn't mean anything. If you are into arts and crafts and you're good at it, who gives a fuck what I have to say about it? Do it. Do it good. If you're talented at it and you like it, do it. The point that I'm saying about all this is that it doesn't matter what it looks like today. It doesn't matter what people say about it today. Everyone thought if you were into computers when you were younger, you were a fucking nerd. Now all the nerds are killing it. They run the tech game. They're all billionaires. They're all loaded. They have it all. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. When I started using Anchor to do my podcast, it was so extremely easy that I haven't even bothered to look for another app to use. I love this app. It's the only one I deal with, the only one I even recommend, period. I recommend you get on there ASAP. If you want to start a podcast, this is definitely the place to go. It's easy. You can drive around and record. You can sit in your basement and record. You can do it anywhere. It's fantastic. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start, anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. But you know what they didn't have? Support from anybody else. They kept hearing about how nerdy they were and how they didn't have any friends and how they were losers. And you know what they did? They were like, fuck you guys, I'll show you. And they did. You think Mark Zuckerberg probably didn't get laid till he was 38 years old. Because he sat in a room playing on a computer all day, every day. Now listen, when you look back on stuff, that kind of stuff doesn't matter. Like the him not having all the friends in the world when he's younger. You know what happens when you have all the friends in high school? You know, when you're in high school and you have all the friends, you know what happens? You grow the fuck up and nobody gives a shit. That's what happens. You grow up, you move on with your life, everyone goes in their own different direction. And nobody cares about how many friends you had in high school. Nobody gives a shit that you were the prom king and that you had all the friends and that you were the most respected jock. Nobody cares that you were the prettiest girl and that all the other girls looked up to you, wanted to be like you, wanted to be on the cheerleading team like you were. Nobody gives a shit after about the age of 20. If you were killing it in high school, awesome. Use that time to network with others. Show them that you're a decent human being and not just some egotistical maniac. And then build connections, build relationships with people. So that way, when you go on in life, when you become big, when you're trying to become big, when you start your own business or you go into a new job field, if you ever want to be involved with people, your reputation is going to be very important then. It's not going to be, nobody cares what kind of grades you got in high school. Nobody cares what you did in high school. Nobody cares if you were the biggest bully or the nicest sweetheart. Nobody cares. It's about now. But what you do today can alter what happens to you in 10 years, can affect what kind of a person everyone looks at you as in 10 years. I'm building this, what I'm trying to do right now is I'm building my brand off of sincerity, being genuine to people, trying to help people, trying to instill positivity and happiness into people. Those are the things that are important to me. And it's not just for today. I've been like this. I've always wanted to help people in some way, shape, or form. I just didn't know how I wanted to do it. Now I do. And I'm not going to backtrack now. And it's not about... A lot of people will shit on people today because they think it's going to propel them somewhere next week, or it's going to make them look good today. And maybe it will make you look good today. But I'll tell you what, you're burning a lot of bridges when you play that game. Being genuine, being sincere, helping others, providing value for other people and not asking shit in return, that's what people remember. You know, I heard a famous quote, nobody cares when a billionaire dies. When a multi-billionaire dies, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares that guy had money. Nobody remembers that person. But when somebody like Prince dies, it's a big fucking deal. Somebody like Michael Jackson dies. You know why? Because they gave. They were givers. Yes, they also had money, but they didn't have the most money. Nobody gave a fuck if who has more, Prince, Michael Jackson, or Bill Gates. I think people will remember Bill Gates, though, because he's very charitable. He's a very giving person. People remember the ones who give. That's what I'm building. That's the brand that I want to be known for. I want to be known as somebody who genuinely cares about people, who provides as much value as I possibly can to help other people in their lives. It's not about ripping off or screwing over the next guy just so I can get my own little personal gain. That doesn't get you anywhere in the long run. And it really doesn't make me feel good at the end of the day to know that I fucked somebody over just to get what I wanted today. It's not good for them. It's not good for me. It's not good for anybody. So be a giver. And when people knock you for it, when people shit all over you for it, when people think, oh, you're wasting your time, you're not doing things the right way, keep going anyway. Don't listen to them. Support yourself. You're not always going to get the support where you want it. You may never get the support. But if you can only function, if you can only succeed based on other people's support, you've already lost. You might as well pack that shit up and move on. But if you can do this on your own, if you can do it in silence, you've won. You're going to be a winner. You got to shut out that out. Listen, people talk shit about me every effing day. It does not slow me down in the least. I don't care. I look at it like this. Hey, at least you're talking about me. Good or bad, my existence is affecting others. And sometimes they hate me for it. Sometimes they think I'm doing it the wrong way. Sometimes they think, because they look at money, they look at financial situation, they look at, well, why don't you do this? You could make more money. I don't give a fuck about the money. It's nice. Money's nice, of course. I'm not a complete moron, just a little one. But I don't care about the money. I care about long-term sustainability. I care about leaving a legacy that is good, that is revered, that people care about. And the only way I can do that is by being of service, by helping people. People don't remember you in a good way if you didn't provide anything for them. If all you did is take and shit on people and hate on people and be negative and talk down about people and just try to insult, nobody gives a fuck about you. It pays off so much in the long term to be a good person, to be a decent human being, to help others, even when you know you ain't going to get anything in return. That's when you need to do it. Support yourself. Look at yourself for support. Look to yourself for support. Look in the fucking mirror. Because it ain't going to just throw itself at you. It's not going to happen all the time. Now, when people are supportive, that's cool. But not everyone is. Like I said about the golf story, there's two things about that. A, when I was younger, golfing wasn't cool. It wasn't talked about as a cool thing. Now it's a lot better. Now you can be a golfer and not be completely laughed out of the building. And A, it taught me how to ignore people. Because back then I didn't. And I lost something massive. Who knows where I could have been? I might have been on the PGA Tour. Maybe I wouldn't have. Maybe I would have never been that good. But I was certainly headed in the right direction. And then I let other people's opinions, I let the majority rule, and I let that persuade me into giving it up. And it was a big mistake. Just don't do that. the thing that you like right now may be considered nerdy. It may be frowned upon. People may laugh at you for it. But one day it may be awesome, and it may be everything. And if you're good at it, who gives a fuck what they say about it? Who cares what they say about you, and who cares what they say about the thing that you love? If you love it, keep doing it. Shut all that bullshit out. Ignore them, and keep doing awesome. Because when you're talented and you have the passion to be better, you strive to be great, dude, nobody can stop you. Those are the best people on earth at what they do. Those are the Hall of Famers. I'm not just trying to play. I'm not trying to come off the bench. I'm not trying to be second, third, or fourth string. I'm trying to be a Hall of Famer. And it starts with ignoring everyone else, believing in yourself, and never fucking quit. That's all I got for you today, guys. I love you so much, and I thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being a part of this. If you want to get a hold of me, you can leave a voice message through the Anchor app, or you can get a hold of me on Instagram at Really Rich Podcast, on Twitter at Really Rich Adam, at Snapchat Really Rich, and at LinkedIn, it's Adam Rich. If you want to connect with me, man, I connect with everybody. I love everyone. I want to connect with, I want to have the most connections in the entire world because I want to be connected to fucking everybody. I want to be able to talk to you anytime, anywhere, the whole damn world. I'm not denying requests. So I love you guys, and I thank you so much for listening. Please get a hold of me, and I'll talk to you soon. Love you guys. See ya.